Started.
My name is Roberto Manzano. I'm a sculptor by profession, and I have been using stereoscopic photography as an audiovisual medium for 6 years only. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to show and share my love of the three-dimensional images through some of my sculptures. The images. In this way, I want to show that I use this medium not only out of curiosity, but also as very useful tool in the current processes of sculpture. For this, I have selected 6 pieces that present a small part of my work. It is the most figurative facet of my work. In this first sample of images, I've isolated the sculpture from the background, motivated by a conversation I had with Pascal Martinet, a stereographer that many you already know. He showed some of stereoscopic daguerreotypes by Lemaire on sculptures by Jane Pradier, and we decided to try to imitate the way of presenting the sculptures, isolating the figures and darkening the background. In this way, a very clean image remains, focusing attention of the sculptural motif. In this way, we pay a small tribute to these visionary photographers who show us that in concept they have more than 150 years of advantage, since today humanity has not yet managed to implement stereography as a visual standard. I'm going to speak to the first sculpture. Puedes poner la otra. Este. Yes. Yes. No. This. Stremophile, the title. Stremophilo is a 60 centimeters bronze sculpture tall. It's found some private collections. They present a girl in an unnatural, purely exhibitionist position, intent only to attract attention. The accessories are also absurd, only justified by the intention of the enhancing the figure of your body on display. The intention is not to criticize the absurdity of the intention shown by the girl with her posture, rather to show one more facet of the human being that pushes me to pigeonhole with as a being with stremophilic capacities. Now, vamos a cambiar. ¿Lo paso? Si tienes que publicar eso. No, pero tienes que cerrar eso y abrirlo. ¿Cuál? Este. Pero no he pasado toda la foto. Da igual. I'm going to put the pictures. Yes. This. La de atrás. Sí. Yeah. Okay. This sculpture is made in white Carrara marble sculpture.
We lost your Roberto, we lost your presentation. Can you share again?
Where is the picture?
Pre-
Yes.
present now.
Now, yes. No, maybe.
No, se está cargando. Sí.
Okay. Can you see something?
Not yet. If you click present now and then
Now,
share.
can you please? I'm showing now in my computer.
Está presentando. Maybe.
Está todo paralizado.
It seems that it stopped sharing. So if you on your side, maybe you can click stop presenting and then start again.
Venga, pues.
It's okay, we have time.
Yes.
Perfect.
A ver, dale a presentar. Otra vez.
Estás presentando.
¿Y dónde está?
Presente.
Entonces, ampliado.
¿Qué?
No se ve.
¿En qué amplio?
Pues algo que no se ve nada. Dale a esto. No, eso no es.
¿Entre aquí? ¿Ah? ¿Es aquí?
Sí. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And
Okay.
it looks like you're presenting, but I don't see the pictures yet.
Wait a moment.
Wait a moment, please.
Sí, no, es simplemente que tarda un montón.
It's a little slowly.
Okay.
No sé por qué da tan lento. Es verdad. Sí, está. Sí.
Kita and Roberto, if it doesn't work, I have the pictures as well, so I could share them probably, if that would help.
Dice que las tiene descargadas las imágenes si no va bien.
But now...
No, no está ahora mismo, tienes que darle...
Déjame presentar.
Do you try sharing a window instead?
Now I'm presenting the pictures.
Okay, perfect. We can see now.
At first, it starts as commission to make a stand for a table. The only condition was that the main motif had to be a female figure. The first sketches result in this position, and it was ruled out that it served as a support of a table. The posture made sense on its own. Balance present an ideal state between the mind and the body, a kind of pleasant connection, but thoughts transfer to the body, and the mind consequently receives the result of the stimuli from the body. In this piece, I felt very comfortable with the type of marble signs in offered me the possibility of presenting the anatomical details that I consider very necessary to give life to the human figures. I also want the material in which it's made to be evident and that there was constraints between the soft leather and the raw stone.
Me podemos pasar, papá, no sé qué es lo que pasa ahí. Esto ya está.
Vale.
Eso lo ven en la tele.
The next.
Vale. Ahora
The game. Now.
Oh.
¿Dónde está el nombre? ¿Lo por ahí?
Sí, sí. Déjate.
Es que si no se va a apagar. Ah. Sorry. No. Sorry, one moment.
No. Ok, espera que entonces empiezo desde. Existe, ¿no?
Yes. Okay, this sculpture.
I think
We now can
Ro-
see something.
no, I think you keep stopping the presentation.
Yes.
Maybe.
We have technical difficulties.
Oh, okay, got it.
Sorry.
Okay, here we go. Yep, can see it fine.
This sculpture is 2 meters high. It's carved from a single block of marble. The scene represents a girl and a boy playing. The intention is to represent a power game in which it's one use different strategies to try to achieve their goal. The child who is below plays with a doll that is a soldier, representing the power of force, and the chest that represents the power of money. The protects it under his knee, the girl given a doll. The development of the game consists on the girl trying to get part of the power that the boy has. To do this, the girl is snatching one of the keys that the boy has in his possession, taking advantage of the fact that he distracted trying to recover his doll. The child doesn't not use through thought strategy. He only becomes enraged and um, tries to achieve his goal by force. The girl is interested in economic power, so she focuses on getting one of the two keys that open the chest that the boy has in his power. He has, through of a strategy, feels confident with her plan and is more elegant as she's sees she's how her plan begins to pay off. In short, the boy, confident in his strength, believes that he can recover his own without problems, while the girl had to draw up a plane. Since she could not face the boys using her weapons. This sculpture was one of the first work that I made when I had the opportunity to buy a block of marble. For me, it was a complicated technical challenge, a test to demonstrate to myself how far I could go when transferring the model of a sculpture with complex shapes to a block of marble without making gross mistakes. The sculpture is one of my first works. Made 20 years ago, I still have it in my workshop. Sí. Now I'm going to show one sculpture group that now I work in this moment. Sí. This sculpture is part of the sculptural group that forms.
Roberto. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
This sculpture is part of the sculptural group that forms the cover of the Hotel Maravilla Palace in Sepona, Malaga, in Spain. The group is made up of two governments, fishing and agriculture, and a central shield with the hotel's logo. The figures are life-size, made of cream-colored limestone, with which is the same stone used in the rest of the building. Currently, I am still working on this sculptural rail. In the final phase of the finishing, I found it interesting to show photos of the process, since it's the most unknown aspect of the stone sculpture. The gardens of fishing has a representative attributes, anchor, uh, headdress with typical sailor's braids, and squids that seem to attend to the gestures that she makes with her hands. The position is very sedentary, looking down to meet her when people look up when they are in front of the front door. Mhm. Now this is now finished the process. Ya, puedes pasar.
No sé por qué lo veo ahí.
And this now
Block.
yes, the central block now is finished also. It's finished.
Ya.
This is a render, the first render of the project. Now the shapes is a little different. Cambiarlo, vamos a poner el monumento al pescador. This is the, now I'm going to show the monument to the fisherman. The monument to the fisherman is a 250 high marble sculpture. It's located in Carboneras, a town on the coast of Almeria in Spain. It presents a fisherman who has just caught a swordfish. He's leaning on a fishing net and gazing out at the sea, aware that the kind of battle he just fought has ended. In that difficult scenario in which he has to face every day, swordfish Swordfish is one of the typical products of the fishing in this town. Final,
¿Es el final?
para
Internet.
sí. This
Apaga. Es que no puedo darle, ¿no?
Okay. This slightly larger than life size sculpture presents a portrait of a woman in a tribute to a person who loves himself. The pose is idealized while the face responds to reality. In this piece, the position does not have a very exhibitionist spirit, rather relaxed and natural without looking for anything expressive beyond the simple fact of being aware of being naked. The position of the hands and the treatment of the hair is what I have enjoyed the most about the sculpture.
Roberto,
Yes,
we're actually seeing the slab of marble. We're not seeing a sculpture.
Yeah, it's just the whole process.
Oh, got it. Okay, sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
hasta que no aparecía lo que...
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were on the right picture. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still doing the finishing of the sculpture. The finishing of the sculpture. I continues in my workshop. In some images, I have wanted to visually show where the sculpture is located inside the marble block before starting to curve it. To do this, I use one of the possibilities that photography offers, which is photogrammetry. It is nothing more than the ability of the stereoscopy to understand it, guided by a computer program. This allows me to get a polygonal model of the marble block pressed from the quarry. Once digitized, I manipulate it in a three-dimensional environment, taking into account the scale inside the computer. Here, I can combine it with the also digitized model of the sculpture to place it exactly where it suits me best within the block of marble. What is interesting is the possibility of showing the result in the stereoscopic images, playing with the transparencies and other elements to understand the three-dimensional environment in which the sculpture is located in relation to the block of marble. Vale, ahora podemos poner, sí, pues, now I'm going to put the video during I talk. Since I'm aware of the potential Since I am aware of the potential stereoscopic photography, I cannot help documenting the entire process of developing the sculpture in the workshop. Those photos that years ago have been taken in 2 dimensions are already a distant past. Now, with the pairs of photos, everything makes sense when incorporating the depth. Since then, so to speak, if I manage to transfer part of the sensation that is perceived when I am in front of the sculpture outside the workshop. It is a necessity to be able to understand the space from every point of view from which a sculpture is observed, and the environment that surrounds it. Without deep perception, the sculpture loses meaning. It becomes a graphic scheme. It loses a large part of the truth. Although although all this is applicable to photography in general. During the process of making the sculpture in the workshop, I like to capture the work's environment through the photographs. I also usually photograph the different stages of the development of the pieces. In addition to these stereoscopic photos, I also take the opportunity to scan the sculpture, obtain virtual molds of those early stages of development, and that if I didn't, they would disappear forever. This, in turn, allows me to create a history of sculpture and visualize the entire creative process in a very enveloping way with these digital files. I can generate an infinity of three-dimensional graphics material, which greatly expands the possibilities on the world of sculpture, as it was known until recently, transcending from the physical to the visual. Of a sculpture, I usually keep 5 or 6 different models of the process. I can superimpose this to visualize the formal changes through which a species has been transformed until the final finish. The video animation that I have prepared is an example of the possibilities offered by the digitization of shapes. In this case, the first I think I did was model the sculpture. Traditionally, this was done with clay or plasticine. Now I can also model virtually. Once the sketch or model is finished, I can find the marble block that first fits the shapes. One of stone block is located. I digitize it, and in a virtual environment on the computer, I manipulate it into place the sculpture model inside. inside the block and pass study where it will be located. This allows me to work anywhere without having to be in the workshops in front of the marble block. Do not forget that this entire process can be viewed stereoscopically and as is already a great pleasure. The, the effort is justified. In this case, the marble block is such larger than the final sculpture, which has allowed me to find a place in the ideal marble avoiding areas with darker uh, details to get a material as white possibility does not distract the shapes. One, when the model is located, I can trace with great precision where the first cuts must be made to eliminate a large amount of excess stone. To trace these cuts, I take the computer with me and, and place it next to the stone to transfer measurements as can be seen in one of the images. I have also included a photo that shows the result of the first cut with the saw. After some more cutting, I already obtained what would be the true volume of stone that the sculpture contains, and the process of carving in the marble begins. Okay, maybe it's the finish.
Oh, that yeah, definitely applause. I see you applauding, David. I just want to applaud as well.
Thank you at all for hearing me.
Um, thank you so much for sharing that. That is brilliant work. I mean, I'm not a sculptor, but yeah, that is just amazing. And just adding the stereoscopic aspect of it, and then the video and showing it inside of the stone. I'm just wow, that was great. And
Yes.
the detail, just amazing. I am going to stop gushing, talking because I know I'm going to check for questions in the chat. Oh, so Pascal has put a link in the chat to his other to his photos on Stereo site. But yes, let me just open it up. We have about 2 to 3 minutes before we get to show and tell. Let me remind everyone that if you want to show and tell, please type show in the chat. In the meantime, though, any questions for Roberto? Anyone have any questions? So here's a question. I'm not sure if your son is reading the chat or not, so I'll say it out loud. It's what tech?
Wait a second.
Oh, do you see it?
Where's the chat? Oh, yeah, here.
It's the last one at the bottom.
What technique do you use to make your digital graphs? ¿Qué técnica usas para hacer?
I have 2 or 3 programs like 3D Studio and ZBrush to make the models. Also for photogrammetry, one program for this. maybe it's enough.
How long did it take you to... ¿Cuánto tiempo te tardaste en acabar la última escultura?
The one natural size in marble, almost 2 or 3 months working.
Is there any more questions? I didn't see.
No, I have one, and I might have seen the answer to this, but I'll ask again. How long have you been taking 3D photos of your work?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas?
5 years, 5 or 6 years.
Okay, that's right.
Maybe I discovered it later. I would like. I remember the film Avatar, but I don't understand nothing the method. Then pass 7 years later, discover it.
How do you...
I'm a younger stereographer.
Still, it's great.
Yes, I like the VR headset. I have one. I suppose is really the more enjoying method to visualize the stereoscopy picture and videos. Yes, for me it's marvelous.